to accept. Then on the other hand, if God is not that, then what is it?
Absolutely. Now here is what I agree. Now here is what I say. Look, let's work on what we would call logical assumptions. Yeah, this is what I would call them. Logical assumption number one. I assume there to be a creator. Why? Because when I look at everything, I think, wait a minute, you know what? How am I supposed to accept, as an example, you know, when I'm walking, okay, and I'm breathing, there's an exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. But there is also what you would call atmospheric pressure acting against the body. It seems like the amount that we have got seems to be balancing our ability to walk. Otherwise, we would just fall over, backward or forward. Now, I look at everything. We have got this, you know, what I would call the standard view that we seem to have the Earth in a particular location, etc. Okay?
Can I just interrupt?
Yeah, of course you can.
The way you're saying this is we seem to have, as if it's for us, but it isn't for us. We are part of it. We have evolved on the Earth. We were, you know, we've come through evolution. We wouldn't be alive unless we could survive in these conditions. So the fact that you're saying everything seems balanced, well, we wouldn't be here. That, you know, animals that couldn't survive here, if someone dropped here from another planet and they, you know, couldn't survive on our planet, they would die. But we have to survive here. We do survive here because we've evolved to survive. Yeah. But it's not here for us. We are part of the whole thing. And you're saying, you know, our lives are short.
Yes.
Very short. You know. Probably the Earth will be no more in so many.
The universe will be no more.
Well, we don't even know about that because we're still discovering. We will never. I don't think.
I'll tell you something, Marcel. I can tell you of a surety, the universe is going to come to an end.
There are many universes.
The method of calculation has already established it to be a few billion years hence.
Yes.
But the issue is not that. The issue, for example, you raised about we have evolved. Now, I did use the word logical assumption. There are many assumptions in this theory, but if I were to ask you, okay, look, I don't mind if somebody tells me that, look, it seems like we evolved, yeah?
It seems like. No. We know we have evolved. We know we have evolved through scientific evidence.
Right, but the scientific evidence needs to be assessed.
It's always being assessed, and new evidence is always emerging.
Exactly.
So
now
we're finding more links between us and other humans.
Excellent. Let me ask, let's see. A few years ago, there was a fanfare about a discovery that was made of a lizard-like creature, yeah, which was seen to be a missing link. Are you familiar with that?
Is this the one that was a fake or something?
Oh, there have been a few fakes.
Yeah,
but this one was meant to be, okay? There was a fanfare about its discovery. What happened after that?
I don't know, tell me.
It basically disappeared off the face, I would call it the Earth. Why? Because rightfully so, it was found to be not what they thought it was.
No,
but you see, the scientific community don't advertise when something goes wrong. There's a reason. I would suggest to you, sorry, Marcel, basically, I said to myself, okay, if I evolved, yeah, whatever it was that led me to this position, whether it's natural selection or whatever it may be, okay, am I at a position now to consider higher matters?
Yes, because you're conscious.
I do. But now the question is this: if evolution has led me to this position to be able to think of higher matters, what would the reason be?
Because that's part of our evolution. Because we're
excellent.
If
our evolution, through whether it was natural selection or any other method, if it has brought me to the position where I can now confidently think about a creator, is that part of evolution?
Well, yes, it is, because people will try and explain the world to themselves in many different ways because we're conscious beings. So we're always wanting to know why. We're curious social animals.
But that can't be true, can it? You see, there's a problem. The method of evolution is mechanistic, isn't it?
No, some of it happens through chance.
It's still mechanistic because it has to follow a physical order.
Well, it can be quite chaotic, actually.
No problem, but it's still mechanical at the end.
I don't really know what you mean by that.
Basically, what I mean is that, look, we had...
Through mutation.
It happens through a physical process, doesn't it?
But new discoveries are also saying that it also happens through... it's not just mutation, you know.
No,
it
agreed.
Can happen very quickly
That's
in a lifetime.
Absolutely, Marcel. That's a mechanical aspect. If you look at the fruit flies, that was the example they used because they, because they reproduce very, very quickly. Okay, but that's not the issue. The issue is this: how do we explain, from the evolutionary perspective, the very notion of consciousness?
For me, it's that we cannot survive without it, and therefore that's why we're here, because it evolved. You know,
you see,
it's a very physical thing. It's the working of our brain.
Marcel,
so consciousness is not something that exists up here, outside of us. It's within the workings of our brain.
You see, I will ask you this: what
and
you
our body.
Absolutely, but you see, anyone who is studying this aspect, we call it the scientific aspect anyway. If you look at neuroscientists and their view, okay, you will find that consciousness, according to the understanding, seems to be independent of the way our brain actually functions. The problem we are having is that how do you separate the two? Can you separate the two? So, for example,
how is it independent?
Well,
how can it exist without human?
I just said that. I said the distinction between the two is a difficult one. But if I were to ask you this, the physical processes that I have, as an example, if I, as a male, am attracted to a female, my natural inclination is to do something about it. That's what it would be. But we know that we can't do that because we have developed rules over time. Yes? Those,
as all mammals have.
Absolutely. Yeah. The rules are there. The question I'm asking is that when I am able to surpass what I would consider to be primitive thinking, and if I were to accept the theory of evolution the way it is understood, then I necessarily can accept that now I'm at a position to be able to understand why I am here.
Yes.
Can we agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Now the logical question is that if I am able now to not only understand but surpass our mechanical understanding of the world and ourselves, then logically the next question is, after I die, what will happen to me?
Nothing.
Now there's
I mean, honestly,
I know what you mean, Marcel.
The problem with human beings is that we think we're so special that something must happen after we die. But really, what happens to all mammals when
Marcel,
they die?
let me ask you this.
They become part of the earth.
And,
you know, really, we shouldn't even be put in boxes. Just put us in there and let us enrich the soil.
Agreed. But
our lives are so short. We're not that special.
Enrich the soil. Well, let me.
We also are able to think. I mean, we think that we think on a higher level.
Yes.
But I don't think it's not as high as we think. Honestly, we're still trying to find out who we are, where we are, why we are. Blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this discussion if we knew, and we'd actually answered all the questions. We wouldn't be having this discussion. So we're forever seeking.
Of course.
But that doesn't make us any more special than an ant in terms of our lifespan and then our death.
Yes.
We all do that on Earth because we're earthbound, and that's what happens to beings on Earth.
Agreed. But Marcel, you see, I agree with everything you have said. However, there's one aspect which I need you to explain to me. Are you suggesting that what we would consider to be the rest of living entities Now we are coming back to our consciousness element, okay? Are you suggesting that we are all on an equal footing?
In terms of
consciousness.
I think we could be. I think the system.
What does the evidence show?
Doesn't actually allow everyone to be on an equal footing.
What does the evidence show?
It shows that we're not.
We're not.
No, I mean we all have the potential, but some people don't get the, you know, they're not able to pursue these questions.
I understand.
They're busy working every day.
Human beings, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Human beings.
What I'm talking about, for example, lions, tigers, chimpanzees,
well,
cats,
we are finding,
dogs, ants.
We are more highly evolved than they are, but we are finding out that a lot of animals are much more highly developed than we gave them credit for.
Agreed, but did you just...
That's how arrogant.
No. But did you just agree that we are the most highly developed?
As far as we know.
Agreed.
I haven't spoken to a magpie or a raven, but I might find out.
I did. And you know what it said to me? Thank God you turned up. I said, okay, fair enough. Yeah? So, you see...
Well, I'm not sure about that at the moment.
Right. But the way I look at it, as a human being, I know that if I were to take your view of evolution bringing us to where we are, even on that basis, I am saying if I have evolved to a position where I am now seriously able to consider not only the universe, potentially other universes, and potentially the very notion that what I would call my life force is not the mechanical aspect that we look at, but something more than that. My consciousness is allowing me.
Can I just bring you some juices?
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you so much. You are a gentleman. I taught you well. Just a joke. He's my master. Yeah. So the consciousness level has reached to where I can convincingly state when we let go of our physical bodies, which will come in use, as you rightly pointed out, for the benefit of food and everything else to grow, what I would consider my essence, and because evolution has allowed us to actually conjure up the idea of the essence of a human being, I am saying to you confidently that it will move on to something else. How can we establish that evidentially?
I don't think we can.
The question is there possibility we can?
Well, I mean, if you look at, even in science, if you're looking at possibilities, you know, then I suppose give anything that you don't actually know could be a possibility.
Exactly.
But the chances of it
exactly
are
now
very, very small.
Absolutely,
compared to
Marcel.
other possibilities.
Agreed. I'm so glad, and it is so logical. The crux that we started with, we are back at. You see, if I were to say to you, it is more probable than not that there is a creator, how do you view that statement?
I think, but then this is the problem, it's I think, you know, I think not, because a creator has not, in fact, people would have believed that more earlier in our evolution than they do now. Now, that in itself, to me, is saying something about how science has explained more than religion. And I think I'm not, you know,
No, be critical, I have no problem. Marcel, no, you don't.
There's a beauty
you don't.
in religion. It was, to me, it's an early science, and it's quite poetic, and it's story. It tells stories about it's humans trying to explain themselves, and it's beautiful, you know. But I think science has developed much more than religion has in terms of being able to explain why we're here.
I agree with you, but Marcel, the issue is not about religion collectively. The issue about, is it more probable than not that there is a creator?
I still think
you are discussing religion, I'm not. I'm saying, Marcel, if you think about it, the statement itself, it is more probable than not that there is a creator. You see, on an evidential basis
of the whole of all
universes, whatever. But
dimensions.
Absolutely,
because
the 11 dimensions.
The thing that see, the thing for me is that the idea of a creator has come from earthbound creatures.
How do you know that?
Because it's come from human beings.
No, how do you know that?
Well, I don't know that there aren't other... But
So it
this
is an
all
assumption.
Hypothetical.
Exactly.
Let's not go
It's
on
an assumption.
hypotheses. Let's
But
go
isn't
on
that what you are doing?
No. Let's
Okay.
go on scientific evidence.
Excellent. Now tell me what
And
the evidence...
theories.
Excellent.
That's not really a theory because it's not based on any kind of evidence.
Agreed, but Marcel, you made a statement. I am saying on a scientific basis, establish it for me, that the idea of a God is a man-made construct.
Well, as far as we know, it's come from...
What does that mean as far as we know?
know any other... So, I mean, we're getting into the imagination, the world of the imagination. What if there are living beings on another planet who are thinking the same thing?
You see, Marcel, there's an answer to that.
That's not going to get you anywhere.
But there's an answer to that, Marcel. You see, whatever you are saying is based on previous experience. You cannot say anything other than what you have experienced.
Not me. No. It's based on our collective knowledge as human beings.
Okay, if we...
And that includes history, science,
Yeah.
geography, all the things, all those bodies of knowledge that have been built up over
Yes.
many, many thousands
True,
of years.
but not one piece of evidence is actually countering my proposition.
It's not proving it either. I mean,
Now, in order for us to do that, we would need to look at the evidence, wouldn't we? Question then, more importantly, Marcel, is one, what criteria would you use and what evidence would you then seek to establish the proposition?
the only evidence, if you want to call it evidence, is that we have the Bible, the Quran, and the other religious books.
Okay.
And, yeah, we know about, for example, Jesus Christ probably existed, was a person, but that still doesn't prove that there's a God.
That's what I'm saying. You see, whatever you are mentioning, the first question is, I said, look at the evidence.
But that evidence
Now-
has stayed the same for so long, and no other evidence has been uncovered.
Here is an odd question. I
from
agree.
What we invent.
I can see what you mean. But if I take what you are saying logically to its conclusion, this is what I would seek in my mind. If I have two routes, two roads,
Sorry,
of
I'm
course,
sorry to interrupt
please.
you. I'm meeting a friend.
I
and
understand.
think he's phoning me. Oh, hold on. Hello.
tell her you are stuck.
I'm in Speakerscorner having a discussion with a very nice gentleman here. So if
How are you? Are you all right?
Alhamdulillah.
Hey, good young
I
man.
was expecting you next week.
Ah,
if
see?
you walk
This
through,
is
yeah, you know where Speakerscorner is, where all the people are gathered.
Tell-
Go to the left and come through.
Tell her to wave, Marcel. Tell her to wave if she's in the
Yeah.
park. Tell her to look out for them. Oh, she's gone.
I'm going to have to go and find her.
No, absolutely.
Anyway,
It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Vegard and I'm a Norwegian Muslim convert. I'm working with the Dawah organization IslamNet to establish the Deen of Allah here in Norway. We give Dawah and present Islam to the Norwegian people. Isn't that great? To be more efficient in our Dawah, we are establishing a first of its kind Masjid and Dawah Center, where we will have Islamic programs, classes, lectures and education for non-Muslims. I am so grateful to Allah for having guided me to Islam. Sadly, I am the only Muslim in my family. It hurts me that my parents haven't accepted Islam yet, and I ask Allah to guide them. But it also gives me a special drive to work for the establishment of Islam. I don't want anyone to miss the chance of becoming Muslim. Maybe my mom and dad become Muslim one day thanks to you. If we can establish this center, I could bring my parents to come and learn about Islam in our native language, which is a challenge today with the mosque here speaking Somali, Arabic and Urdu. The Prophet ﷺ said that the Muslims are like one body. If you can feel my pain, would you please help me relieve it? You are now my new family. Click the link and donate to establish this masjid and share in the reward for the message of Islam reaching the corners of Norway.